This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/Psychetruth.
I have tons of awesome videos already ready for you. You can join me on Amazon Prime Video. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration. Hey, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. In today's video, we have an agility flow that we're going to go through together. Agility is our ability to move kind of swiftly, but also with control and a lot of balance. So that means we're definitely going to get into our core today. And when we do core work like this, it's not always your traditional crunches. It's going to be targeting the deep core muscles that help stabilize our spine and help us have awesome posture so that we feel confident and look great no matter what activity we're ready to tackle. So we're going to get started in tabletop. So come to hands and knees. Bring your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees, and then just to start to kick on the core, tuck your toes and then hover your knees about 2 inches off the floor. I want you to traction the heels of your hands back towards your knees and hug your knees isometrically towards the heels of your hand. So this doesn't look like a big motion, but you'll notice that this deep core muscle kicks on the longer you're here. Zip the low belly in and let the front ribs knit in. You'll be here for about 3 more seconds. That's enough time for a big breath in. Good, and then breathe out. Place your knees down, untuck your toes. On your inhale, come to a cow pose. Drop the belly, soften your elbows on the way through. Lift your heart up and then re-extend your elbows until you're nice and long. Exhale into cat pose. Round your spine, gaze back at your navel, and knit your ribs together. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale, cat. Breathe in, cow. Breathe out, cat. Look for this fluid spine. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Last time. Good. Zip the belly in and then begin to pull your spine long from neutral. So you'll still notice this deep core engagement, but you bring the chest forward and it'll feel as though you're stretching the front line of the body. Now tuck your toes, hover your knees like you did before. Keep the knees bent and then shift back to a bent knee, downward facing dog. Press down through the base knuckles of your hands, your fingers. Let your ears work away from your shoulders so your neck is long, and keep your knees bent to start. Good. From here, feet about hips width distance, drop your heels to the right, lift your left arm up, knees will stay bent. So we're loading the legs here, the ankles are strong. Take a breath in. On your exhale, place your hand down, swivel to the other side. So a lot of core control. The heels drop, the right hand lifts. Breath in, touch down, knees stay bent, swivel, and then this time hug the bottom knee into your chest. Take a breath in, touch down, swivel to the other side, same thing, bottom knee hugs in. Breathe in, exhale, touch down, 1 more time each side, adding on, hug the thigh in, and then pow, kick the foot out. Good, hug it back in, touch down, swivel to the other side, thigh in, pow, kick the foot out, touch down, and then finally, downward facing dog. That should feel good to release some of that tension, but right away you know that your core is turned on. When we go through agility flow, that doesn't mean that every single move is going to be graceful, but it does mean that we are working towards that control and balance even as we're moving from posture to posture. So our ability to start to think about how we move in transitions from one pose to the next helps us feel more confident on the yoga mat, and it creates a total body experience so your muscles are firing from head to toe. Soften the knees here, let the sit bones lift. Good, and then on your next inhale, rock forward to plank pose. Feel the back of the heart pull up towards the ceiling, and then at the very end range of the motion, broaden the collarbones. Lift your ears up in line with your upper back. Bend your elbows straight back, lower all the way down. At the bottom, untuck your toes. Heels of your hands are back, elbows in. Inhale to a little cobra. Exhale, chest down. 2 more times. Inhale to cobra. The back of your head is the last thing to lift. Exhale, lower down. 1 more time, cobra. Start from the back of the heart, then lift it through the skull. Exhale, touch down. Rock back to child's pose. Let your knees go wide. Drop your belly between your thighs and rest your forehead. So that little transition from plank to belly to cobra to child's is something that we're going to take through this flow. It'll help us stay fluid in our hips, and we'll find that nice link from breath to movement. On your next inhale, lift to tabletop, tuck your toes, shift back, downward facing dog. Big breath in, big breath out. Good, soften the knees. Let's do that again. Rock forward to plank pose, ears lift last. Lower down on your exhale all the way to your belly, untuck your toes. Cobra pose just 1 time. Child's pose, rock it back. Tabletop on your inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Let's take that round 1 more time. Soften the knees, rock forward, feel the belly button pull in. Lower down all the way. Untuck your toes, cobra pose, shoulder blades away from your ears. Exhale to child's pose, touch down and rock it back. Inhale to tabletop, lift, feel fluid in your motion, tuck your toes, downward facing dog, hips high. Big breath in, open mouth exhale, release some heat. You've probably already noticed that your body's building a lot of heat. That's because this is a total body experience. When we work with agility, every muscle is firing to keep you stable as well as fluid. So you're torching calories, and you're also turning on your brain, so your brain-body connection is really strong through this entire flow. Take a breath in, breath out. Step your feet together. Lift your right leg skyward, 3-leg dog. So you're strong in the arms, you can feel them tone, you can feel the muscles hug to the bone. That'll give you the stability so that you can open up the bottom hip, bend your top knee, and then start to take some hip circles. Circle your right knee as if you could draw a shape, an oval shape on the side of the room that you're in. And then switch the direction, notice if anything is sticky or tight. Take 3 circles in the other direction. Good, I know your arms get nice and warm. Mine are too. Level out your hips, reach your right leg high, and then step through to a lunge. Soften the back knee a little bit and draw the belly in, and then rise all the way up to your high lunge. Reach your arms overhead, begin to straighten the back leg. Good, so as we move into some of these standing postures, we're going to look for fluidity and balance as we go from one place to the next. Take a breath in, and on your exhale, draw your hands to your heart, shift your weight to your front foot. You might even put a little bounce into the back leg just so you know that you're stable from the middle of you, not just from your feet. Good, and then on your inhale, lift yourself up into a single leg mountain pose. Allow your left knee to come up in front of your hip and then reach your arms up overhead. So a lot of core control, not only to find that movement, but to keep your leg up. Hug the muscle to the bone and then take your hands back to your heart. Soften your right knee. So that's the grounded knee. Soften it. Shift back to an airplane pose. So you're hinging at the hips. Allow your chest to come parallel over the yoga mat, and notice if your left hip is trying to work its way up. Instead, drop it down and stamp your foot on the wall behind you. Last, add your airplane arms. Wing your fingertips back. There's still a soft athletic bend in your right leg, and that's because we're going from one pose to the next, so we don't need to lock out the joint. Take another breath in. And on your exhale, soften your right knee, land the ball mound of your left foot, and sweep your arms up overhead. And it's okay if those transitions are newer to you and you don't feel super duper graceful going from one to the next. The more you practice them, the easier they get, and the more your brain knows what to anticipate that your body's going to do. Take another breath in. And then on your exhale, hands through heart center, and then open up into warrior two. So you're gonna slide your back heel down, reach the torso long over the pelvis, and take your eyes over your front hand. Now flip your front palm, reverse the warrior, reach up and back, and then one fluid motion all the way to extended side angle, drop the elbow onto the thigh, and sweep your back arm over your ear. Press down through your back heel, lengthen out through your crown. Press down through your front heel and allow your lunge to deepen. Take another breath in, full breath out, and then come all the way up to star pose. One big sweep, reach your arms up overhead, dial your heels in, your toes out, and then sink on down to goddess. So in goddess, let's take the goddess arms as well. Squeeze your shoulder blades down and back. Let your elbows come about armpit height and spread through your fingers. Now press down through the ball mounds of your right foot and lift your heel. Take a breath in, place your heel down and switch sides. So now as we switch sides, try to be fluid from one to the next, so there's no pause in between. Just switch and switch. Good. Feel that core control deep from inside, so you are very plugged into your center line. You're here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Spike both heels, then place them down, burst open to star, and then warrior 2, flip your feet. Straighten the front leg on your next inhale. Bump the hips back and then come down into triangle pose. So if you have a block at home, you're welcome to put your right hand on a block. Hug the hip crease back and lengthen the bottom waist. Good. Continue to hug the muscle to the bone on your right leg so you're not hyperextending your knee. Take another breath in. Full breath out. Now soften the knee. We're going to come all the way up and back to reverse warrior. Take a big breath in. Reach and reach and reach. Good. On your exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Step back to plank and lower all the way down to your belly. Loop the shoulder heads back, lift to your cobra pose, and then child's pose, rock it back, hips to heels, forehead down. Take a deep breath in and a wide open exhale. Again, inhale. Wide open exhale. One more time. Great job. Tabletop as you breathe in. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Step your feet together. Let's take all of that on the left side. Press through both hands so that you're level and firm through your armpits, and then circle the bottom hip open, bend your top knee. Notice if you're dipping a little bit in the right armpit, you might, so instead press through the right hand, level it out. And once you feel that stability, begin to wake up your left hip with some hip circles. So you're strong enough in your core, in your arms, that your hip has some freedom. And then switch and take the opposite direction for 3 rotations. Good. Level out your hip. Now straighten your left leg. And on your exhale, come through to a lunge. Soften the back knee a little bit, so that just helps the pelvis as you come all the way up to your high lunge and reach your arms up next to your ears. Good. So again, we don't want to be super stiff in the back leg. You want a little bit of play because we're moving from one level to the next. Take a breath in, and on your exhale, dock your hands at your heart. Shift your weight to the front foot. So lots of core, lots of power from the center of you. Come to stand up into single leg mountain pose, and then reach your arms up next to your ears. Knit the front ribs into the back ribs so you feel that firmness through the midsection, and then lift up out of your waist. Take another breath in, softness in your left knee, hands to your heart. On your exhale, stamp your right foot behind you, airplane pose, level out the pelvis, and reach the arms back. So airplane is just a variation of Warrior 3, but instead of taking your arms forward, you bring your arms to your sides, and that can help you with balance. Good, and agility is all about control and balance, especially through these transitions. So soften into your left knee, touch down to your high lunge. Right foot docks behind you, the heel stays up, and then reach your arms up overhead. Take a breath in and grow the sides of your waist. And on your breath out, open up to Warrior 2. You're gonna dial the back heel down. Front heel will bisect the back arch. Stay lifted through your crown and let your gaze come over your front hand. Good, now flip your front palm and reach all the way up and back into a reverse warrior. You're gonna take some of that momentum in the side body and bring it then down into your extended side angle. Lengthen the bottom waist over your thigh and sweep your top arm over your ear. Steer your tailbone to your back heel. Lengthen from one end of your spine all the way to the other, and then let your gaze come up under your armpit. Press down through your front heel, burst open to star pose, everything gets big, reach it out, and then down into goddess. So here you can see that my shoulders aren't way up by my ears, they're down, and the hands are wide. So this is a really great position for you to stimulate the upper back muscles, but stay connected to your core, and on this side, we're just gonna spike both heels and hold, and feel that little shake, little quake in the body as you stay in a static position for a moment. These little balance muscles that you feel shaken and quaking are the muscles that help you feel confident and graceful in transitions. Take one more breath in. Good, heels down, hands to your heart. Burst open to star pose, and then flip back into your Warrior 2. Good. Straighten your front leg, bump the hips back, and come down into your triangle pose. So you're light in the bottom hand, long in your bottom waist, and if your neck allows today, gaze up. Continue to isometrically hug your legs towards one another as you lengthen the bottom armpit away from the bottom hip. Good. Big sweep of emotion. Take a breath in. Full breath out. Soften your front knee, and here it is, reverse warrior. Go all the way up, all the way back. And on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down, step back, and lower to your belly. One cobra pose, press into your feet, head is last to rise, and then child's pose, take it back and down, belly between your thighs, and rest your forehead. Fill your lungs, and empty your lungs. One more time, inhale, exhale. Good. Come to tabletop, and shift back to downward facing dog. I want you to notice all of the energy underneath your skin right now. The little tingle you feel from hips to heels, from head to fingertips. Just notice how alive your muscles feel, how awake and warm you are. So we've done a lot with the stabilizing muscles in our core and our hips. So we're gonna give them a nice big stretch in half pigeon. So step your feet together. Reach your right leg up and back, and then swing your right knee to the outside of your right wrist. Lengthen your back leg behind you. Your shin is gonna lay down on the mat. So if that doesn't happen for you, you feel like your pelvis is really high up, grab a pillow from your bedroom, slide it underneath your tush, and that's gonna give you the elevation that you need to be comfortable here. Good, so once you feel stable in your pelvis, you can untuck the back toes, lift the chest. This is where pigeon gets its name, that little puff of the chest, and then come all the way down and place your forehead on your hands. Good, so the sensation you should feel should be deep in your hip here and not in your knee. So if you feel a lot of heat in your knee, I want you to flip onto your back and take a figure 4 instead. We'll spend about 3 or 4 breaths here, just getting deep into the hip, and just notice how every exhale you can go a little deeper and your body releases a little bit more tension. It's really important after we do some strenuous work for our muscles that we then offer them the ease. And we talked about that a lot over the last few videos, this concept of effort and ease. We want to find balance, and that's how our body starts to shed unwanted things, be it unwanted pounds, unwanted stress. We have to know that there's the opportunity for balance. It's not all stress, it's not all effort. There's also time for ease and restoration. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Good. Come up onto your hands, tuck your back toes. That just helps you find some of that core control. Lift the hips up and back, send your right leg high, take a deep breath in, and touch down, right leg down. Good. We'll take the other side. Left leg lifts up and back, and then come into your half pigeon. Sweep your knee to the outside of the wrist, so that just gives the hips some space. And again, if your pelvis stays up, it doesn't feel comfortable to lower, slide a pillow or a block underneath your pelvis. From there, if you can feel easy across the hips, untuck your back toes and lift your chest. Then lay the chest far forward and down, and let your head rest on the backs of your hands. It's super duper normal in this posture to feel a lot more stiffness on one side of the body than the other. It's not really about whether or not your front shin goes parallel, but rather whether or not your pelvis feels stable here and you are noticing this stretch in the outside panel of your hip and into the deep hip. Again, if you're feeling a lot of heat or any pain in your knee whatsoever, I want you to flip onto your back and take a figure 4 instead. As you move into more depth in this half pigeon, stay mindful of whether or not you're sagging into the joint or if you feel just an unfolding of more and more good space in the body. Good, so when we find time for healthy stretch, not overstretching, but a healthy balance of stretch, then our joints can move in a more optimal range, and we are actually firing up our muscles more appropriately for any work. Take about 3 or 4 more breaths, just noticing your body letting go of unnecessary tension. Good. You might even notice that you can go a little deeper after a few exhales, but there's no need to push it. Gravity does a lot of the work here. Wonderful. Come up onto your hands, tuck your back toes. Again, right away, I want you to feel that core support. And then lift up and back into a 3-leg dog. Last time, big reach. And then touch it down, downward facing dog. Good. Take a full breath in. And on your exhale, slow motion, lower down to tabletop. See if you can get slower as you go. So lots of core strength. And then take a moment to just sit back on your heels. Roll your shoulders back once or twice just to loosen the downward facing dog out of your shoulders and out of your arms. So now let's come on to our backs. So much good work from our standing poses and in our flow. It's time to just take a little supine twist. So draw your right knee in towards your armpit. Give it a nice squeeze. And on your exhale, supine twist. Stack your hips, cross your knee over your body. It's okay if the knee doesn't fully touch down. You can always slide a pillow or just let it hover as long as your toe touches down. Take one more breath in, a big breath out, and come back to the middle. Your right leg will go long. Hug your left knee in towards your armpit, give it a squeeze. And on your exhale, come to supine twist. Stack your hips. Your knee will come across the body. A little gentle twist to reset the spine after the work. Take a breath in and a breath out. Come back to the middle. Both knees will come to your chest now. Give them a squeeze. And then lay your legs out long for Shavasana. It's okay if you take up some space on the floor. Let your palms turn up. Shoulder blades will go a little bit wider so that you don't feel stuck in your upper back. Drop your bottom jaw away from your top jaw so there's no clenching in your teeth. And just start to notice any of the residual effect of your yoga practice starting to integrate into the body. Even when we do these practices with a physical intention of getting stronger or losing weight or feeling more fit, we also cannot separate the fact that these are also mental and emotional practices for us as well. That the more clear and calm we feel in our mind, the more focus we'll have when it comes to meeting our goals. And the more compassion we'll be able to have for ourselves, especially when things are challenging. It's okay to have physical goals. And it's also good to notice that we're more than just our bodies. We also are healthy minds, healthy spirits. Take one more breath in and out. Great. Roll onto your side. And then press yourself up to a seat. Thank you so much for joining me for this agility flow. I know that the last few classes have really been amping up in intensity, but I know you're doing a great job. I can't wait to see you in the next video. And until then, namaste. Your bonus tip for today is all about the sneaky things that come in soft drinks and bottled drinks and how we can replace those things with more healthy options. So let's get down to business. Maybe you already know, you know what, a bottle of soda is not great for me. Maybe you already know that. But let's find out, how bad is it, okay? This particular bottle has 77 grams of sugar in it. 77. And maybe you're thinking, well, I don't ever drink a full bottle of soda, so I'm not so bad. Well, then let's look at this sweet little juice. This juice over here has 71 grams of sugar. So really, it's not that much better. A lot of times when we reach for these bottled drinks, it's because we need a pick-me-up. We feel a little drained, maybe our energy is low, or, and for a lot of us this is the case, we're just addicted to sugar. We can't get enough of it, and they hide it in everything. Most likely, you're not putting 70 sugar packets in your coffee in the morning. But when it's already bottled up for you, it's super duper easy to chug the whole thing and have no idea how much sugar you just rushed into your system. And the truth is, our brain absolutely gets addicted to sugar, just like any other substance that can have addictive qualities. So when we are trying to break the sugar habit, it's really important to get real about the total volume of sugar that you already have in your diet, and these types of soft drinks are a really sneaky place. So let's look at some that maybe don't seem so bad, like a green tea. Green tea is supposed to be really good for you, but a lot of times when you get bottled tea, unless it says unsweetened, which we talked about in a previous video, you can pretty much bet that your green tea or any other tea, bottled or canned drink that you have is also full of sugar. For example, this tea has 3 servings in it for the whole can, and each serving has 17 grams of sugar. Most likely you're not splitting this into thirds. You're probably drinking half or the whole thing. So you're definitely getting more than 1 serving when you purchase something like this. So what are some good alternatives? Well, here's the thing. When we have any sort of kind of addiction or sort of this desire for a soft drink, there are great alternatives so that we can still find that habit of finding something tasty and taking a sip and satisfying ourselves without having to reach for the thing that's just absolutely packed with the sugar that we don't want.
So carbonated water is a great place to start, especially if you have a soda habit. I know a lot of people, they'll drink multiple cans of soda every day to help increase their energy at work. Maybe they're feeling a little drained, or they just reach for a soda because it's become just commonplace. It's what they go for. Then you can simply replace your soda with a carbonated water. And what's great about carbonated water is this is a huge trend in the food industry right now. So there's tons of flavors. You can find something that tastes good to you. Make sure when you pick out something that is flavored that they're flavoring with something natural as opposed to adding in a lot of unnatural flavorings. So maybe you don't like fizzy drinks, you just want something that tastes a little more interesting than plain old water. Then one great thing is to just grab lime or lemon juice, keep it in your fridge, and you can add that to your water bottle. One bonus you get when you add your own lemon to your water bottle is that it also supports a good, healthy electrolyte balance in your body. So that'll help you if you tend to feel a little bit fatigued after your workouts. And last but not least, if you notice that you're grabbing the soft drinks in the middle of the day because you're feeling sluggish, then I want to welcome you to opt for something like green tea, but from a tea bag, or perhaps even another type of tea. It'll mimic the experience of having a coffee, and maybe you do grab a coffee. I'd much rather you actually make your own coffee than grab a drink that's already bottled for you, because then you're in control of what you're putting into it. And most likely you're not putting 12, 20, 77 packets of sugar in your coffee. You might be putting 1 or 2 at the most, and you're getting something that satisfies you. So when it comes to kicking some of these soft drinks to the curb, it means you have to get real with the total amount of sugar that you're already putting into your diet and saying no. Pick for something that allows you to have a little more control, like a carbonated water, like adding some lemon to your water in your water bottle, or opting for a coffee or tea that you prepare on your own. That way you know exactly what's going into your body. I wasn't lying when I said that sugar is addictive. It absolutely is. We have plenty of studies that show us that sugar does have an effect on our brain. So I've told you this before, and I'm going to say it again. When it comes to making changes that you can sustain for a lifetime, it's important that you go step by step. Pick something today that you know that you can do for the long haul. And then when the going gets tough, remember, you're making smart choices, not just because you want to lose weight, but because you want to have a healthier life. These are lifestyle changes that you can sustain. So make sure that you do it step for step. And I'm here rooting you on. I'm so excited that you've taken on this challenge and you're doing awesome work. I can't wait to see you in the next video. I'll see you then.
Get back to basics with the Couch to Confidence series, a 14-day complete beginner program from Julia Marie Yoga. Now streaming on Amazon. Introducing Yoga Plus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. Yoga Plus. Download now for free.